Hell what you're weighing, you're still a sausage. You still got a massive head.
That to me. I just want to get this guy out of boxing. I want to beat him so badly that he doesn't want to ever fight again.
I mean, you bang in the middle, mate, and I'll nip it in the bud right here, right now. You know, I don't think you can come walk over to me and pull up on me and think I ain't gonna do nothing about it.
You're lucky you're fighting tomorrow. I'll fuck you up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, this guy comes in when I'm cutting weight.
Oh, it comes in when he comes. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow after the fight.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow after the fight.
Good. You get in that ring.
Yeah, what? Get in that ring. I'll get in that ring and fucking give it to you.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, mate.
We'll see.
You're fucking lucky you're fighting tomorrow.
You'll see.
You're lucky, mate.
We'll see.
Get your hand off me.
No, it's okay. Let him come close, man. I like this. I like this energy.
The rivalry between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. is palpable, and it's evident that this isn't just a casual encounter. It's a major confrontation waiting to unfold. Benn's fiery attitude is clear as he calls out Eubank Jr., challenging him to make the first move. His self-assurance is through the roof, and it's obvious he's aiming to put more pressure on his opponent. On the other hand, Eubank Jr. remains composed, standing tall and calm, with an air of unshakable confidence. But beneath that cool exterior, there's a noticeable tension. While Benn has the energy and determination of youth, Eubank Jr. brings a wealth of experience to the table. Their back and forth has been fierce, but ultimately, it comes down to who can deliver when it counts in the ring. The stakes are high, and this fight isn't just about words. It's about proving who truly has what it takes. Will Eubank Jr.'s experience prevail? Or is Benn prepared to show that he is the future of the sport? Only time will tell.
Like he wants that fight. So, the fight's gonna happen.
That's him just selling it to the media that I pulled up on him while he's wagering. And most people will fall for it.
Conor Benn said to us that will be his next fight. Is that it now? The next fight is going to be Conor Benn for you, Chris.
As long as he gets his license back, the fight's next.
The date is set. Mark April 26th on your calendars because the highly anticipated battle between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn is officially happening. The excitement surrounding this event is undeniable, especially after all the drama and build-up. Fans can't wait for what promises to be an explosive showdown. The personal rivalry between these two fighters adds another layer of intensity, making this matchup even more thrilling. Benn is out for redemption, while Eubank Jr. carries an air of confidence, knowing that this fight could be a pivotal moment in his career. The stakes have never been higher, and the action in the ring is bound to be electric. Will Eubank Jr. silence his critics and prove his dominance? Or will Benn make a bold statement and shake up the boxing world once again? This is more than just a fight. It's a grudge match that will have everyone talking. So, who do you think will come out on top in this fiery rivalry? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
To be honest with you, like at the end of the day, the reality is winning is worth a lot more than 100 grand. I think we do something for charity, whatever, I think it would be nice.
Eddie, he said that he feels that he's getting paid, if not more than Conor Benn, around the same. What do you make on that?
Who?
That was
Ben Shalom.
First of all,
he's making double-digit millions for this fight. If so, Chris Eubank needs to sue him.
Things quickly escalated during the exchange between Ben Shalom and Eddie Hearn, and it's easy to see why. Shalom wasn't holding back, particularly when discussing the financial side of boxing. He made it clear that for him, victory means far more than any paycheck, even going so far as to suggest that charitable contributions could have a more significant impact than any sum of money. But Eddie Hearn wasn't about to let that slide quietly. He dropped a major bombshell of his own, directly addressing the speculation that Conor Benn might be earning the same, or even more, than Chris Eubank Jr. for their upcoming fight. Hearn didn't hold back, fiercely rejecting the idea and suggesting that if Eubank Jr. is truly on the same pay scale as Benn, the boxer might want to consider legal action. With the gloves off and tensions at an all-time high, this confrontation is shaping up to be one of the most intense and dramatic showdowns in boxing history.
You think he'll be there for the fight?
I think he could potentially be there, yeah. I don't think it would take too much for him to be there. It's just a few conversations and things to be worked out in between, I'm sure. But yeah, it's obviously a fight that, Chris Eubank Jr. is carrying the promotion alone, at the moment. So
why do you say that?
Because he is the one that's engaged the public.
Harlem Eubank didn't hold back when discussing the upcoming showdown, emphasizing that the dynamics behind the scenes are just as charged as the fight itself. He's confident that Conor Benn will be ready for the match, although there are still a few conversations and final details to be worked out. However, what really caught attention was Harlem's take on Chris Eubank Jr. and the role he's playing in carrying the entire promotion. Eubank Jr. has become the face of this fight, capturing public attention like never before, while Benn has remained more in the background. Harlem pointed out the imbalance in the promotional efforts, noting that Eubank Jr. has fully stepped up, engaging with both fans and the media. It's clear that Eubank is leading the charge in driving the narrative, and whether Benn is involved or not, all the buzz is undeniably centered around Junior.
Fight itself is a mismatch, you know. The build-up has been a mismatch, you know. And
is that because Chris is too big, do you think?
I don't think it's necessarily you know, it's obviously the size at a different weight class. You know, in boxing there's different weight classes, and you fight your weight. And Chris is, as well as being bigger, has fought at a much higher level.
Harlem Eubank didn't hold back when talking about the upcoming fight, calling it a clear mismatch in terms of both the build-up and the fighters involved. In his view, Chris Eubank Jr. is simply on a different level, while Conor Benn is stepping up to a higher weight class. But the real problem, according to Harlem, lies in the vast experience gap. Eubank Jr. has competed at a far higher level, facing tougher opponents, and that's what sets him apart. Harlem stressed that while size may be a factor, it's the quality of opposition that truly matters. Benn hasn't faced the same caliber of fighters, and that gap in experience will be the key difference in the fight. For Harlem, this match was never going to be a fair contest. Eubank Jr. brings more skill, more experience, and more power to the table, making it a tough challenge for Benn. The difference is too significant, and it'll become evident when the bell rings.
It's quite difficult sometimes, especially if you're dry like Chris Eubank. He will struggle to stay within that 10-pound limit. I have a feeling he won't do it. I have a feeling he'll agree to it, he'll pay a fine, and maybe weigh in 15 or 16 pounds over.
Who did he fight recently and he looked like he was completely dead at the weight?
Yeah, last fight.
Was it Liam Smith, the first one?
Yeah.
He looked he looked awful.
Brutal. And that's how hard it is to make. That's why I think it's kind of the rehydration clause puts things slightly more into Conor Benn's favour, which is unfair.
On the flip side, Carl Frampton didn't hold back during his appearance on the TalkSport Boxing podcast, expressing concerns over whether Chris Eubank Jr. can make the weight limit for his upcoming fight. Frampton believes that Eubank, particularly when he's dehydrated, will struggle to stay within the 10-pound weight difference allowed. He suggested that Eubank might agree to the weight terms, but could end up paying a fine for being 15 to 16 pounds over the limit. Reflecting on Eubank's recent bout with Liam Smith, Frampton pointed out how drained Eubank appeared, emphasizing the challenges he faces in making weight. The bigger issue, according to Frampton, is the rehydration clause in the fight, which he feels gives Conor Benn an unfair advantage. He believes this clause unfairly tilts the scales in Benn's favor, potentially changing the fight dynamics and making things even tougher for Eubank. Frampton argues that the weight issue isn't getting the attention it deserves.
Eubank Jr. is his own man, and that's what he's always tried to make out. This is me, this is my career, and this is how I do things. Dad, that was your era, that was your time, blah, 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 let me do this. But I'm sure he'd love to have him sat ringside watching him.
Joe Gallagher didn't hold back when analyzing Chris Eubank Jr.'s quest for independence. Eubank Jr. has been vocal about wanting to forge his own path, stepping out from his father's shadow and refusing to follow in anyone's legacy. However, beneath all the talk of independence, there's an underlying truth. Eubank Jr. is still seeking validation. He may not openly admit it, but deep down, having his father in his corner and witnessing his dominance in the ring would mean the world to him. It's the unspoken reality that no one dares to address. The big question remains, can Eubank Jr. truly reach the top on his own, or will he always be haunted by the very legacy he's striving to break free from? The clock is ticking, and the drama is only just beginning. Eubank Jr. is navigating one of the most complicated journeys of his life, one that goes far beyond boxing. It's about finding out who he truly is.
A good thing sometimes to have a little bit of weight to train off. Not a lot, but you know, and I think that's what Eubank's got, whereas Conor is already at the weight, or there or thereabouts. So that's also a benefit in the sense like he can now just completely fuel his training and fuel his performance. But it's always going to favour the bigger man. It's always going to favour the bigger man.
On the other hand, Shane McGuigan isn't shy about highlighting the benefits of carrying a bit of extra weight during training. He believes Chris Eubank Jr. makes the most of this approach, using the added weight as a tool to push his limits. In contrast, Conor Benn, who's already close to his fight weight, can focus entirely on refining his training. On paper, Benn's method may seem more efficient, allowing for more specific conditioning. However, McGuigan isn't sold on it. He recognizes that in a fight, the larger fighter often holds the advantage. In this particular showdown, size could play a pivotal role. But McGuigan also brings up a key factor: age. Despite Benn's impressive physical preparation, the age difference might prove significant, as stamina and recovery become crucial in the later rounds. The older Eubank Jr. could have the upper hand when it matters most, making age a potential game changer in this high-stakes bout.
Also very close with Conor Benn. He's a good pal of mine, so it's very hard for me to sort of sit back and say this or say that. I think they're doing a fantastic job in selling their fight. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. They both obviously have the needle with each other, and they're both going to give it everything. So be prepared for war, and I hope they get out of the ring safe and sound.
Meanwhile, Tommy Welsh shares the challenge of staying neutral ahead of the highly anticipated clash between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, especially given his close relationships with both fighters. Welsh admits he's torn, revealing that Benn has been training at his gym, and they've developed a strong bond, making it difficult for him to pick a side. Despite his personal connections, Welsh acknowledges the way both fighters have built up the rivalry, recognizing the undeniable intensity between them. Welsh doesn't hesitate to call this fight a genuine war. Both Eubank Jr. and Benn are stepping into the ring with everything at stake, each determined to prove who's the true champion. Welsh's main hope is for both fighters to leave the bout unscathed, regardless of the outcome. This fight is shaping up to be one of the most intense and memorable clashes in recent times. For more updates, like, comment, and subscribe.